Welcome to Raise the Anchor with host Melissa Burbridge. In this podcast, I will share the stories of individuals who have made major life-changing decisions. The purpose of this podcast is to tell their stories and inspire change within. Stick around and share their journey with me. Today on the podcast, we have Modita. She is a doctor turned life coach. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Melissa, for inviting me. I'm very happy to meet you here.
Yes. So excited to have you on today. So excited to learn from you and some of the skills that you can offer for others. What did you want to do when you grew up? I only ask that because you went from a doctor to a life coach, and most people dream about being a doctor all their life. So what did you want to do when you grew up?
Okay. Yeah, when I was small, I wanted to be a teacher, as my parents also were teachers. And actually, this was the only thing I could think of. But actually, what was happening was that my mother, she told me as a small child that everyone will get a vocation in his life. So I was very worried about it because actually I didn't know what to do as a profession. And from 11 years old, when she told me this, I was walking to school and coming back from school and looking at the sky if any vocation would come. But it never came, actually. Yeah, so by the time I finished my school, I had to choose which direction to go, and I loved biology, so I thought you cannot earn money with biology easily unless you become a teacher. So then I chose to become a doctor, but actually it didn't feel like a vocation. So that came later, that I felt what it is. Yeah.
So you were a doctor. Did you specialize in anything?
No, I didn't specialize. So I worked in several departments under supervision of a specialist. Yes.
Nice. So you went from being a doctor into a life coach. What made you make that choice to change into a life coach?
Actually, when I was working as a doctor until 8 years before, and I felt, in a way, unsatisfied because I wanted to add something to the well-being of people. And I thought that as a doctor I can find the causes of diseases, and then I can eliminate the disease and people will feel happy. But then I saw that as a doctor, actually you don't know the cause of any disease. So you only can describe what is happening, but what is underneath, you don't know. So I was always searching for that. And finally, I thought even when I eliminated disease with medicines, it doesn't mean that somebody feels good. Some people had a disease and they felt actually very good inside. And other people didn't have any disease and they felt depressed so I saw that well-being means something else. And then the longing became more and more to work with what gives you well-being. So after my study as a doctor, I studied Gestalt therapy and emotional body work and Reiki and art therapy, so many directions, and finally family constellation, so that I could do something for what is really the to contribute to the root of well-being. Yeah. And then it took some courage to take that decision because I don't know if I will earn money with it. And many people, they say it's such a pity from your education. But I always told them it's the more a pity if you don't follow your heart and remain the rest of your life in a job you are educated for and which you don't love. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. A lot of people have asked me why I left nursing to do what I do now, and I kind of have to follow my heart. Um,
Uh,
is the easiest. But it's interesting that you say, as a doctor, I love it because being a nurse, I know that it's true. Doctors um, don't always know the root cause. They know the symptoms, and they
yes,
say, oh, those symptoms fit this. This is what you have. So I love hearing a previous doctor actually say, no, we don't know the root cause. So that just resonated with me so much.
wow.
Completely.
Wow. I'm happy that you also recognize that in your profession.
Yeah.
So that feels very good to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved hearing that. So, do you ever regret your choice? I know you followed your heart, but do you ever regret your choice to leave?
No, no, never. No, it was even like this that um, actually there was a moment that I could not even look at my study books anymore, like all the medical books I had. And one day I took all of them and put them in 3 or 4 cartridge boxes and put them on the street for the old paper car who comes to collect the paper, so that I would not even have those books anymore. So that means something in me was really very clear about it, that I never regretted it. But there was a moment, I mean, I had several depressions in my life. So now I am definitely out of it. So then I also wrote the book Depression, a Stepping Stone out, Towards Bliss, out of gratitude. But when my last depression was over, I got some guidance of someone to guide me to the next job. And then she said, "Oh, you already, as I hear you, you already want to facilitate meditation and guiding people for well-being for 20 years." So when I heard that number, I thought it's now or never, Otherwise, after 5 years, somebody can say, "Oh, you want it already for 25 years."
Yeah.
So I saw that some real action from my side was needed, and yeah.
So, tell us what you're doing now.
Yes, I'm facilitating active meditations from the mystic Osho, and I love meditation because meditation really brings you to your core, to who you really are. So it's an anchor inside. Now I recognize it in your podcast
Yes.
title, anchoring.
Anchoring.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful title. So I that's the main thing I want to people to help to meditate. And the active meditations are very beautiful because they start with dancing or making sounds or releasing all the emotions, and then you can first release your busy head, and then it's much more easy to go into the more silent stages. So that is one thing I do. And then I facilitate family constellations, which looks at what we carry from our ancestors. So sometimes we want to carry the burden for our mother or our father, for example. And it works with that. That's what I really love, because it's work from the soul. It's intuitive work, and it really can free people from entanglements they have with their family. And also, before the COVID-19 appeared, I was giving a Japanese therapeutic face massage also. It's very relaxing because we keep 85% of our attention in the face, because that's what we show to others. So we always adjust it. Mm.
Um, yeah, learning, because we previously had that conversation, learning more about the family constellations. That's a really interesting topic. I'm sure that could be like a whole other episode
Mhm.
just on, it's a unique way of looking at things and getting to the roots. I really loved learning more about that. Where can our listeners find out more about family constellations?
They can find it on my website. My website is www and then enjoyingmeditation.com. And then there is a subject in my website, what I offer. And there you see personal guidance. And if you click personal guidance, there is a whole page about family constellations. And there is also a button where you can click on the blogs I have written about family constellation. So there is, for example, a blog how it can help with psychosis and how it can help with depression and with relation problems. Yeah.
And do those have the translation into the English as well?
Yes. That's the English translation. So the name enjoyingmeditation.com is English. And if you are by chance on my Dutch site, there is a big button, so English translation, and then it's easy to find.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I forgot to mention that you are in the Netherlands. So for our listeners, Modita is in the Netherlands today.
Yes.
You speak very good English, so I
Oh,
wouldn't.
thanks a lot. For
So
you speak very clear also for me, so it's easy to understand you. Yeah.
oh, that's good to know. So how does what you do now um, as a life coach differ than healing people as a doctor? How is that different?
Yeah. So actually, as a life coach, I mostly focus on people with eating problems. I also had eating problems myself, both anorexia and bulimia, both, and people with depression. So also I wrote an online course for both. And what is different as a doctor, I treated symptoms. You know, I tried to ask for the cause, but there was not much time to do so, and I was not expected to do so. But now it's more that I guide people to discover their own truth. So to discover inside themselves what helps. And also a doctor is very much, even when you are supposed to treat the body mostly, and of course also the psychological things, but it focuses mainly on the mental part, on the understanding, on analyzing. And in my work now I focus much more on the body, and the feelings. So in the body is so much wisdom, and also all our memories are stored in the cells of the body. So yeah, I focus much more on feeling and connecting with the body, and also on releasing things, expressing things. If you look at depression, for sometimes it also has the word pression in it, so it presses down the anger and the sadness. So when I had depression, I didn't even notice any feelings anymore. So, and it's very important that this life energy can come back. And also with eating disorders, are the feelings are suppressed basically.
Mm-hmm.
So the person with anorexia suppresses all feelings and needs, and is also proud of it that she can do that. And the person with bulimia, as soon as some feeling arises, uh, takes the food to not to feel it.
Yeah.
So also then it's important to connect. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So, are there any signs people should look out for that they have an eating disorder? Like maybe they don't realize they have an eating disorder?
My I think that most people, they notice that they have a problem with eating. I think maybe they don't call it an eating disorder. Maybe disorder a little bit sounds very like a heavy word. But as soon as the eating occupies a very big part of the day, like counting calories or seeing how to get rid of them, or living towards the next binge for eating, it is, I would call it already an eating disorder. But of course, you call it only a problem if you experience it yourself as a problem. I have to say, when I had anorexia, I would not say that I had a problem, because I was happy that I found this solution for myself. So uh, it's a good question actually you ask, because it takes time until you realize that it's a problem, and in the sense that it occupies such a big part of your life that this energy is not available anymore for other things, like finding what you really want to do, or in a way somebody with the eating disorder is also much isolated, because eating is very social phenomenon. So if you are with other people and you have binges, maybe you are afraid you will have a binge there, or if you have anorexia, you are afraid you have to eat somewhere. So I would say, it takes time to notice for oneself that it is something which is taken over your life.
And I guess that could go on the other end. Like, I know myself during university, I used to be a stress eater. So I used to eat. So I guess that it could be on both ends, the not wanting to eat in front of people and the wanting to eat all day long.
Yes. Yes, I understand. So eating is also, in a way, it is on the short interval, it's soothing the stress, because when you eat something, the food comes in the belly and it feels a kind of fulfillment, but only for a short time, So I recognize that, what you say, that still when I have very much stress, then the tendency is to run to the dark chocolate.
The dark chocolate.
Yeah.
And you're closer to the really good chocolate in Switzerland, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's very good chocolate.
I love that chocolate. So
yeah, me too.
You mentioned you had depression, a few depressions. Can you just give us a little explanation on that? And are there any signs? I know it's like repressing, like pushing down your emotions, but what was it like for you? And are there any signs people can look out for that they should get checked?
For me, it is a very dull and gray state of being, like no emotions, except I had attacks of panic or fear, because I felt some kind of bottomlessness. I didn't know what to do with my life and how the juice could come back. So it was also scary. But most of the time it was very dull. And the last time that my depression appeared, I could really feel it coming. It was like I even had the image of a black monster approaching me with his mouth open, that and I tried every possible thing to prevent it, to do everything which I knew. Like I tried meditation, I tried to move and to have positive thoughts, but it didn't help. So and when you say to get checked, I think it's very important with the depression to search for a right person to who can help, because depression is so much medicalized. So many times I hear that somebody comes to a doctor or a psychiatrist, and within no time he or she is outside with antidepressants. And this is such a misconception about the working of the antidepressants, because a Danish psychiatrist, his name now, oh my God, what is his name again? It's Peter Goethe. Yeah, he has taken all he has found all the inquiries which have been done by antidepressants, and except very severe cases, the antidepressants simply don't work. But it's very tricky, because once somebody is using antidepressants and he starts to get rid of them, which always has to be done very slowly, otherwise it is very dangerous for your life. But then by diminishing the amount of antidepressants, a side effect of that is depression. So then people think when the depression comes back, oh, it means that I have to take antidepressants. But it's not true, because you have to go through that.
You also have to understand why you're in the depression. I totally agree. I don't believe in medicating them first. Myself, when I went through a depression, I found writing in a journal, just trying to get to the root cause of why I was depressed, or like what these feelings were as to why I was having them, really helped. I know a lot of people can't ask themselves the same kind of questions as psychiatrists would, but because I went to a psychiatrist a lot as a child, I knew what kind of questions to ask myself. So I agree, even if a doctor does put you on an antidepressant, there's still work. It's not taking care of the depression, it's just masking it. Yeah.
Yes, wow, very nice that you did that. Yeah. Writing down. And you really came with your writing down to the root cause. For me, my writing down was, I had many diaries, because I only wrote when I was depressed. And then I circled around. But it was more, your writing was in finding the cause. And I think I was more complaining in my diaries, or comparing myself with others, because as I could not find the joy in myself, I was comparing so much and trying to live the same way as other people live. But it doesn't work, of course.
No.
Yeah.
See, I think if I hadn't gone through that therapy as a child, I wouldn't have known the type of questions to ask myself. I probably would have just been writing mindless things like, I'm sad today because I'm in Rome where I should be happy because I'm away from everybody, but I'm sad because I just went through this breakup, kind of thing.
I see. It's very honest to write that. Yeah, honest to yourself. But I found the root cause of depression, which I found out for myself, and I found through family constellations. And what is it? It is actually that you did not take one or both parents really as your parent. So in many cases, somebody who is depressed started taking care of a parent emotionally or physically, because you thought the parent has too much pain or is not strong enough. And for the child, it's essential that the parent is strong enough. Otherwise, the child will not survive. So she tries to take care of the parent, and she thinks that she can carry the pain for the parent, but it's not possible in the first place. And what happens then is that you are in the wrong position. You take the position of the parent of your parent. And then you cannot be nourished, because the what should be is that the parent only gives and the child only receives. And then later on, when the child has her own children or an own project, she gives it ahead. But if you did not, if you were not nourished yourself, then this is the emptiness of the depression. Yeah, so it's important to come back to the position of the child in front of your parents. to see them as bigger than you. And then you can, you if you can take your parents exactly as they are, with all their limitations and all their strengths, but without wanting to change them, then you can be nourished. And in the moment you do that, you take only the good things from your parents, and what belongs to them remains by them. That's very amazing that happens then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. So,
Hmm.
how has COVID changed things for you right now in your current business?
Um, it In my business, I don't give the Japanese face massage anymore because it's very close, face to face. Even one moment I had bought these perspex masks and mouth masks, but still I don't dare to give that. And it was actually the main activity, or what I did most hour-wise. And instead of that, I am writing my second book about eating disorders. It will be called Hunger for Fulfillment, the psychological insight of eating disorders. So, and I love it very much actually, because it's, and I also love to go into my own meditation more, because the COVID um, makes the outside distractions less, so I come more close to myself. And I also give family constellations with Zoom, so online also. Yeah, it's very nice. And what I discovered, I thought, Melissa, that it will be less effective with Zoom, you know. But what to my surprise, it worked more strong. And I try to figure out how it can be possible. I think because family constellations worked with the whole field of the family, the whole field of the soul. And my what I think is that because with Zoom our computers are so far away from each other, that we make the field larger. So that's one so with America it would be
Yeah.
or it would be even more strong. And also I think part of the strong effect is because people sitting in their own home, their own environment, and it's kind of more safe and more connected. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So on the connected part, what advice can you give people to get more connected with themselves?
Yeah. First of all, um, is and that can be not so easy, is as long as you not go into too many distractions from outside, you already come closer to yourself. And then the first thing to connect with is the body. This is also what my spiritual master Osho emphasizes very much. He says, start from the circumference. And the circumference is our body. This is the first layer, actually. So to connect is, where do I feel a tension? Is it in the shoulder or in my arm or in my jaw? And then to relax that part consciously, or to say to it, relax. It doesn't mean that you can relax on command easily, but if you say it lovingly to yourself, something already can relax. So, and it doesn't mean connecting with the body that you only relax. It's also connecting with the body if you feel, oh, I'm very tense here, or my stomach is like a ball, like a tense ball, or I am moving my feet all the time. So that's already connecting. And then the second layer is connecting with the thoughts. So all the thoughts, but to see them like clouds, or like to and sometimes you get involved with the thoughts, then you cannot see them from a distance. And then also connecting with the feelings. It's the third one. And connecting means not only connecting with the good feelings, but also actually welcoming the sadness as a precious feeling or the anger as fire. It's a very beautiful feeling, actually, the anger. So to appreciate all the feelings. And then sadness can be a very beautiful feeling because it brings you very deep inside. If you would be always happy, it would be very shallow and superficial. Of course, it's also nice to be happy, but you cannot always be happy.
Yeah.
So, and also, I think people who you see always happy in a way, I also get fed up with them, even when I myself often wear a mask of a smile. This
Yeah.
is my kind of defense, you know? So, yeah.
So the people who are always happy, do you believe that they're actually always happy?
No, I don't think so because I know it for myself, you
Mm.
know? Yeah. When I was doing the Gestalt therapy training, my educator, he told me that I have to stop laughing and smiling for 1 month. And I felt I felt very bad about that. And then yeah, I thought I would improve the world by smiling, but yeah. And then also when I tried that, I noticed, for example, I came. The boyfriend of my sister opened the door, and I didn't smile, and he said, "What is wrong with you?" You know. So then I also noticed that also other people were accustomed to my smile. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that. So you can find out more about Modita on her website, which is www.enjoymeditation.com. She also has a Facebook page, Joy in Meditation, where you can often find a lovely dance. I love your dances. I love looking at your dances all
Thank you.
the time. They just inspire me. I actually today it's raining. I almost want to go out and just dance and relax because I'm a single parent for the next 2 weeks and just let
Oh
everything
yes.
out.
Oh, I think your children will love it to dance with you.
I won't
Yes.
let them record it yet, but I'll get to the recording part at some point. She also has a book, Depression, A Stepping Stone Towards Bliss, available on Amazon.com. So what I really want to know is who inspires you and why?
My spiritual master Osho, because you told about coming to yourself. He really brings me to myself. Yeah, there is a beautiful website, www.osho.com, where you find so many meditations and beautiful things. But actually, he does not force anything on anybody. He even says, "Don't follow me because I don't want any followers. I want just you to be yourself." So he helped me to more and more get rid of everything which is fake in me, which I learned in the education. And another person who inspired me very much, um, she left her body 3 years ago in a diving accident, but her name is Mira Hashimoto from Japan. And I met her in the meditation center in India, where I always go, and she is an artist and she loves to paint, and she gives classes with painting where you can smash the paint and do whatever you want like a child, and then also other things like painting your face and meeting your parents in their face. And she is such a live person. I say is because for me she still exists, like dancing, painting, and any time when somebody was too much attached to a result, to make something beautiful painting, she would come with a bucket of paint and just throw it over the painting, like a very alive person.
No, she sounds
Yeah.
inspiring. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to come and chat with us. And yeah, it was very interesting learning more from you.
Thank you, Melissa. Also, I'm very happy to be interviewed by you because I love this conversation very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Raise the Anchor. And subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss the next episode. Don't forget to rate this episode as well. I'm Melissa Burbridge, wishing you smooth sailing.